Zatel here with super featherweight contender, multiple time world title challenger, my man Abraham Supernova. Abraham, man, thank you for this last minute breakdown, for joining me, man. We're about 36 hours or so, 24 hours away from tomorrow. We're from O'Shaquie Foster defending the WBC title against Raymond Ford. You went the distance with both of these fighters in good fights with both of them. Who is your pick tomorrow night, man? How do you see it going and why?
My pick, I'm gonna give you my breakdown of my perspective because when we fight fighter, we fight them at different stages of our career and our life. So when I fought O'Shaquie, I didn't have the experience that I had when I fought Raymond Ford, but I did had a 8 week preparation to get ready for him. So I was ready, and you guys saw the type of fight that I did give him. Of course, everybody knows through training camp hiccups and stuff happen, but 9 out of 10, I had the condition. I was ready to get to fight O'Shaquie Foster. Turning around when I fought Raymond Ford, I only had a 2 weeks notice, and then you guys saw the type of fight I gave him. I wasn't ready to fight a 10 rounder. I was doing a TCL, which is the team comeback league, which is for one round. So I was training for one round when I fought Raymond Ford, and I gave him a good fight. And I mean, I didn't want to take the fight. I know he came like a pound over or half a pound over, and I had the option not to take the fight. And I told him I didn't want to take the fight, but they put big pressure on me to take the fight because of they told me that Turkey Alekishi won't ever have me fighting his cards again. So they threatened me on certain type of way, but I didn't want to take the fight. And nobody want to mess up those type of paydays and that type of relationship that that Turkey is bringing to the sport of boxing. So that's the reason I took the fight with Raymond Ford. But getting back, who I think is better. I think by far, there's not a, by far. This is no emotions, no ego, no pride. This is legit facts. I'm speaking. I fought both of them, right, and I lost to both of them. Honestly, I mean, I have no pride at all. I think O'Shaquie is the better fighter. I think O'Shaquie has the more skills, has more experience, and it's a well-rounded, better fighter. Raymond Ford, I was doing what I wanted with him out of shape. I was controlling the fight out of shape. What I wanted to do with Raymond Ford, I did not feel threatened at all fighting Raymond Ford. There's nothing he did in the fight that I'd be like, okay, he do this. He got real high IQ. He got real speed. He got a crazy amount of power. No, he had nothing. He's a real basic fighter that was he was matched perfectly, and he had got to where he got. O'Shaquie Foster, on the other hand, when I fought him, I felt like I was controlling if I was winning the fight. Using my gas tank wasn't there because a lot of nerves, a lot of emotions getting into that fight, my first world title. So a lot went out fighting O'Shaquie Foster. And I'm not saying he's better than me, but he could fight. He has good skills. So if I had to put some money, I would put my money all day with O'Shaquie Foster. But don't get me twisted. Style makes fight, and that's why I said that in the period that I fought O'Shaquie Foster is not the same when I fought Raymond Ford. I had more experience fighting Raymond Ford than when I fought O'Shaquie Foster. But overall, like I said, based on my perspective, based how I view things, how I saw everything, I think O'Shaquie Foster is the better fighter.
So yeah, Abraham is joining us from the Dominican Republic. So a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back on. Abraham, so your pick is O'Shaquie Foster. You say that without hesitation. You wind up touching on a lot of the things O'Shaquie talked about to Raymond when they had a sit down weeks ago. He mentioned all the things you mentioned about the short camp you were able to have for Ford versus him. But let me push back then on what you're saying, and give you an opportunity to flesh out why you got Foster. Um, is Raymond Ford though the sharper fighter? Is he okay? But actually, before we even get to that, how would you compare their punching power? You fought them both at 130 pounds. How do you compare their power?
The way I could compare the power is that fight, they can say all that they want. That fight is gonna be a decision. Nobody's knocking nobody out. There's no power there. They both are not punching. Yes, O'Shaquie did catch me, but I wasn't hurt. I was more slipped, and it was the perfect timing. And I honestly say that with no pride and no ego. If he dropped me, he dropped me. But uh, they both don't have no power. If you watch how I fought both of them, I was not. I didn't second guess to step to them. And when you step to a fighter, is that you don't respect their fight. You don't respect their power. I'm gassed out. So I don't think they have knockout power. So I don't. If I will bet that fight, I will bet a decision, because that fight is going to the distance 100%.
Even with that being said, no knockout power on either side. Was one guy a little bit better puncher than the other?
I
Yeah.
I can't say I can't tell you the difference. I'm trying to. If anybody I would say is sharper or better placement is O'Shaquie. You got probably better placement shots. He'll place his shots better. But power wise, no, none of no. I can't say it.
No, fair
It's
enough.
not. I
I mean,
can't say
even
it.
the
I don't remember me respecting anything that they threw at me. So I can be like, oh, he has power. No, I'm like, oh man, these guys can't crack at all. Like, I mean, when you can't crack, you can't crack. It's not like who has more than that. I mean, you can't crack. So as a fighter, we like, hey, he can't crack. So I will step to him. So, but if I would say who got better placement, who could place their shots better, it's O'Shaquie. He could place his shots better than Raymond Ford.
No, fair enough. I mean, to your point, you did finish that 12th round swarming O'Shaquie Foster all like at the
Yeah,
bell. You were still on
yeah,
top and throwing combinations,
yeah,
so it wasn't like it made you gun shy that knockdown in the
yeah.
12th, right?
Exactly, yeah. So, but overall, O'Shaquie places his shot better. He had better speed, better
Really?
footwork by far better footwork.
Okay.
O'Shaquie's a better foot, but they both fight a similar style, very similar. They both fight very similar. A lot of time when you get those type of fight similar, it's boring fights. they they want somebody to commit, and none of them ain't gonna commit. I'm telling you, they ain't gonna commit because it's still gonna be a boring fight. So I could see it being very boring and going to the distance because they both fight very similar, and they both want somebody to step in so they can counter punch.
Hmm.
Because that's what they both are, very very counter punching. They're not aggressive punchers that come forward. They both are counter punchers
Well,
that fight on the back foot.
Ford did come forward when he was behind on the cards to win his title against Klomatov. So,
Yes, he did.
I mean, how do you look at that? Who do you think is going to be forced maybe from being outboxed to have to come forward and make the fight happen?
That's a good question because also O'Shaquie, when he fought that one kid and when he fought me, he knew he was down and he had
Rocky
to come
Hernandez.
forward that last round. So um who will come forward, it would dictate who has the better boxing skills. But I think how emotional Raymond Ford is, I think he's gonna want to be coming forward because he's emotional right now. And O'Shaquie could stick to his game plan and be patient. But once you have emotion and you're all caught up with your feeling or people are saying, you fight differently because you're caught up in that stage. And O'Shaquie, he has a lot more experience. He's been in this position so many times rather than Raymond Ford hasn't. So I could see Raymond Ford being desperate and try to come forward and O'Shaquie capitalizing.
Do you um do you read into anything weight wise in this fight? Ford is newer to the weight class. Shock's been making the weight for a while, and now that you see them on fight week, how do you see the weight cut for both fighters?
That's a good point right there. I could see in that sense, I'll give Raymond Ford an advantage. You have an advantage on O'Shaquie. O'Shaquie, what, 32, 33?
Three, yeah, about yeah,
Yeah,
32, 33, yeah.
it's hard to make that weight at that age. It's not the same when we were 25, 26, 21 years old making that weight. So I remember when I fought O'Shaquie, he had a tough time making 130. So I could see that being a big attribute. And I could see it favoring Raymond Ford. Just that right there will favor Raymond Ford very big.
What's
Just the
interesting
age
though
difference.
is now that it's like 24 hours from the fight, I see Ford's cheeks sunken in and everything, and like you never know, right? You never know. Despite what we just said, it could actually be the other way around. Like I don't know, but the way you read into it is if it's an advantage for anybody, it's for the younger fighter.
I say it is not about making the weight. It's about rehydrating, coming back, right? So they're both gonna make the weight. It's who bounces back. When you're older, your body doesn't bounce back when you're younger. Raymond Ford, when I fought him, he didn't even make the weight, but he bounced back. I mean, because when you're younger, your body tends to, just dehydrate better and get back better. I could make 126, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna fight I'm gonna fight like if I was 135, 140 because I'm not gonna rehydrate the same way. I'm gonna need more time because I'm older. So that's where I say Raymond Ford will have the advantage. Yeah, he probably look more sucked in, but his body's gonna it's gonna be easier for him to bounce back to get back at that weight because he's younger.
You said you look into it as, and Sergio Mora said the same thing. Like Ford is emotional, and that's almost a advantage for the other fighter.
Oh,
Why isn't it though? Just a younger fighter being hungrier and having that edge. Why is it not a positive thing? And why do you think it'll work against him tomorrow night?
it could be a positive thing and it could be a negative thing, but the way he's using it, the way he's pushing, the way he's talking, you see it being negative because now he's getting his feelings and his emotions involved, right? Because being confident, you working hard, using that has an advantage in the gym and pushing yourself, but staying humble because in boxing, nothing is written, anything can happen. And once you have that mindset, anything can happen. You have to be realistic with yourself. Yes, you have to believe, but you have to know, like, yo, something can happen. You don't know anything. We're human. We ain't monsters. We ain't gods. All right. So we're human beings. So that's where I see a disadvantage for him before. Yeah, it's good that he's has that eager, but that eager could put him in a wrong step in a fight, or it can help him, but it's going towards the wrong step because he's fighting a complete experienced fighter. That and if he slip up, O'Shaquie will capitalize.
Yeah, and just to close up our analysis of this, and thanks again, Abraham. I was a little surprised when you said in terms of pure hand speed, you had Foster because I see the length from Foster as an advantage. He mixes up his looks and his stances more. He'll switch southpaw, orthodox. He'll shoulder roll. Like I see that sophistication to his style. But when it comes to just ripping like a combination, bing, 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 it looks like on tape, Raymond Ford is the faster and in that sense a little sharper fighter. I know you talked about Shock's punch placement, but it looks like when Ford gets to ripping in the pocket, that looks like more his wheelhouse. So break that down for me, please.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When it comes to fast combinations in a fight, Raymond Ford might will have that speed against O'Shaquie Foster. When I say O'Shaquie is faster to my sense, I'm looking at body movement, head movement. I'm not looking at speed because from one punch to another punch, right? Everybody could be fast, but not everybody gonna have that great time. And I feel like O'Shaquie has more speed, as in he puts it all together with his movements, with his footwork, with his hand speed, and he has good timing, and he is very long. And when you have a wide, long span and you're long and you know how to use it to your advantage, that's why I said that has speed. But yeah, Raymond Ford probably he'll throw those amateur punches, which is those fast flurries, which judges don't care about that. He does have that speed, but that quick shot in and out with the footwork, with the movement, I feel like O'Shaquie has that. And this is me remembering the difference when I fought both of them. Because like I said, when I fought O'Shaquie, I was ready to go. And I felt this, I seen his speed. But when I fought Raymond Ford, I'm like, this dude not like it's nothing like he if you watch the fight, try to see if he hit me when he good shot. You won't see nothing he hit me with. I barely got touched. I came out clean. O'Shaquie Foster, I had marks up. He was touching me. Same way I was touching, he was touching me. So I don't I feel like personally, O'Shaquie's a better offensive fighter than Raymond Ford. If
Defensive too.
O'Shaquie and defense, if O'Shaquie wants to fight offensive, that's why I say O'Shaquie's overall is the better fighter. He is. It's gonna be an easy night for him. I'm saying it now. It's gonna be an easy night for O'Shaquie. It's not gonna be nothing. It's gonna be a decision win, and he's gonna win by unanimous decision. I'm saying it right now. Unanimous decision, easy win, 12 rounds. There ain't gonna be no knockout though. There ain't no none of that stuff happening. They both lying to themselves. They think a knockout's gonna happen, but it's gonna be a decision fight.
Abraham, bro, thank you for pulling over on the side of the road before getting to your crib in the Dominican Republic. I really
Yes, sir.
appreciate it. I think there's some
Anytime.
betters that appreciate it.